Okay, and we're rolling for another video. So I'm a little bit excited today because we have made some massive upgrades, not around the shop, but with the quality of these videos. Got ourselves a lapel mic, so hopefully you can hear me a little bit clearer. And then we also have an iPhone, which is a much higher quality visual than my potato phone that I was filming on. So trying to make every video 1% better. Right here, I've got a kid's K2 bike in the stand. It's getting new grips, new saddle, new shifters. Sorry, my brain's a little bit fried this morning. I'm still waking up. Hopefully this tune-up will get my brain going a little bit again. So I'm going to start with cleaning. Get a little bit of simple green on there. The kids' bikes have been going like hotcakes. I had 2 on the floor. They both sold this week. So I would like to get this one ready and on the website. I'm willing to bet that it will sell before Christmas rolls around, which is only a week away at this point. I've also had some more time to think about this YouTube channel. I think I'm going to separate it for now into 3 kind of categories and see how they perform. We are creating YouTube shorts that are essentially product features. Most of the time it's a bike. Sometimes it'll be like some accessory item. That is meant to be like an overlap between posting on YouTube, but also getting it out to our other channels for local marketing like Facebook, Instagram, email list. Really meant to be something that is good for the YouTube channel, but also drives local traffic. So that's the shorts. For long form content, I'm going to have 2 different categories. One of them being a watch me work style video like this, where I just get a bike up in the stand and prep it for the sales floor or tune it up for a customer. And then finally, the last category, I'm going to call them whiteboard videos. They're really just going to be business content where I try and nail down a specific protocol or practice that we have here at Recycles Bikes that helps make us successful. That third category could very well end up being what this channel turns into exclusively, because my goal with this is to attract people who are working in the industry who are looking for either coaching or to open up a store of their own. We are going to be offering a licensing program, which will allow people to open up their own Recycles Bikes location. But we'll have a lower level below that where we just offer coaching. Got something sticky on here. Somebody put a nice gunky adhesive around the bar, which is always my favorite thing. Oh, it looks like it's coming off. Bit by bit. All right, let's go ahead and get some of these junky parts off. It's got some really worn down grips, broken shifters. Looks like a 3x7 speed. So we're gonna get a fresh set on there. Looks like one of the brakes might be having some trouble too. The barrel adjuster's ripped out. So we'll have to see if the threading's still good on that. I also messed with the background lighting a little bit. I think it makes the video look better. However, it's a little bit dark for me to work, so that might be something that I have to adjust going forward. But yeah, we'll see. I feel like these watch me work style videos will ebb and flow depending on if I feel like I have anything specific to talk about. I might enjoy more so sitting down and doing structured business content, because I have noticed it's definitely a weird art to carry on a conversation and have a topic of discussion while also working on a bike. I feel like my mind kind of maybe doesn't track that way. I'll get kind of zoned into the problem solving of the bike and I'll forget that I'm supposed to be talking to a camera. Whereas with a whiteboard video, I can just focus on the concept itself. So that might be the direction that this channel ends up going in. But for now, working on bikes, getting used to being on camera, getting used to situating the lighting and audio and everything else. That is a gunked up piece of housing, and it's going in the trash. Where'd my clippers go? There we go. Yeah, the more I look at this bike, the more I think it definitely needs some love. I'm gonna take this piece of housing too. It does not look good. New cables, new housing. Let's see if we can get this barrel adjuster back in there. I think I'm gonna need 2 different sets of pliers. Might end up just swapping this out if it doesn't thread. Maybe it's going in there. Just needs a little bit of persuasion. Might be able to save that brake. Oh, I put it back in, but it's not attached to the brake handle. Somebody took a spill or something with this. Kids being kids. See if I can find the head of that cable. There we go. Feed it back in there. Do we have a brake now? Ah, there it is. Okay. Let's be able to save the brakes. I am going to pull a couple parts off. Whenever there's accessory items on inventory bikes, kickstands, bottle cages, bags, we tear those off. If they're in good condition, we might keep them for the sales floor, but generally we sell accessories new. We keep like a little garage sale section in our shop just for stuff like this, but it's so haphazard what comes in. Typically, we will just get accessory items from one of our suppliers like QBP. I'm also going to swap out this saddle. which I have one here on my desk. This one's not bad, really. It's just got one little tear, but I've kind of learned any tears in the saddle, just replace it. Try and make them as aesthetically pleasing as possible. There's two types of brackets here. This is kind of the old school, cheaper one, but they'll all fit on these rails. One of the things that is a good universal fit, there are other things that are not so universal. Like one thing that we have a common issue with is the seat post diameter size. So that's going to be what feeds into there. That's actually the top portion, but what feeds into the bike itself. There's like 10 different sizes. Some of them are more common than others. We just had a bike the other day. I think it was a 30.6. Had a suspension seat post, which I don't like those things. You get a customer that needs the seat all the way at its lowest level, and because it's got that suspension in there, you can't effectively make the bike the right size. But they fall in love with the bike, so you have to go hunting around for a replacement seat post, which seems simple in theory, but when you have a 30.6, which is like maybe 2% of bikes actually have that seat post diameter, I ended up hunting all over the shop. We didn't have any in stock, but I found one on another bike, so basically swap the problem over to that bike, because now someone's going to fall in love with that one, but it's going to have a suspension seat post, so they're not going to be able to get it low enough. I've been looking around on different supplier sites, but it's still hit and miss. QBP's definitely been sparse lately. It seems like every time I log into there, they have more stuff that's discontinued. All right, new seat, new set of 3x7 shifters, twist shift, a classic choice for most kids' bikes. And then I'm gonna get some fresh housing as well. I'm gonna hide from the camera. Let's see if I can dig through my housing, find something useful. What do we got here? There we go. These are going to be a little long. I'll just get them cut down. Oh, actually, they're not terribly long. It's because these sit so far back on the frame. Let's see what that looks like. I'm actually going to keep that size. That's a good size. Yeah, this will make a grand total of one kid's bike on the floor. There are a lot of advantages to selling used bikes, but one of the disadvantages, at least in my model, that focuses on only top-tier brand used bikes, is kids' bikes. We have a never-ending flow of adult bikes coming in here that fit our criteria as far as brand and age and wear. But understandably so, there are less parents out there purchasing higher-end brands like Trek and Giant and Specialized for their kids that are going to outgrow it in 6 months. On top of that, if they are out there, kids are kids, and they're going to beat the crap out of whatever they ride. So we don't get a lot of the caliber trade-ins that we want to fit our business model for kids' bikes, and oftentimes when they are within our brand list, they are so beaten that we can't really offer much. We have to put a lot of replacement parts and TLC into them, and on top of that, they sell for less than the adult bikes. And that combination results in a low trade-in value, which can be a hard pill to swallow if you paid $300 or $400 for your kid's bike. So we don't end up getting a lot of them in. And also, if you noticed, I am going to cut these down a little bit. You can see it's a little bit long there. So I went ahead and snipped the other side. For the front derailleur, just a little bit long. There we go. Now let's go ahead and I'll pull this one back out. Oh, I already tightened it onto the derailleur. Wow, I'm getting ahead of myself. See, that's the thing about talking and working on bikes. I'm not used to doing that. There is at least 1 or 2 wires crossing in my brain in trying to carry on a conversation while simultaneously problem solving a bike. It's definitely a bit interesting. All right, got that off. Let's cut this down about 3 inches. Get that back on there. I am excited to see how the videos perform with the improved audio. I know that was probably annoying on my previous videos to click in and then you can barely hear what I'm saying. You have to turn your volume all the way up, which is probably past the friction threshold for most YouTube viewers. If you have to turn the volume up, you're already clicking on to the next video. There we go. All right. I can tighten down these grips, or sorry, shifters. So I can then put the grips on over top of them. Those are going to have to be cut down too, since this is a kid's bike. I really like these little velo grips. Just an easy pattern. You can chop them down. All you do is hold it right up, put your thumb at the length you need, and then you just work the scissors in there until they get through. Boom, shorter shifter. Not shorter shifter, shorter grip. I'm really not awake this morning. All right, and then I always put just a tiny little bit of lubricant in there. Hairspray works a little bit better, but some people probably gripe at me, like, oh, you're putting lubricant in there, it's gonna move too much. It's like, I'm not dousing it in lubricant. I'm putting just enough in there so that it's not so challenging to get these on. There we go. New grips, new shifters. Let's go ahead and get them attached to the derailleurs. And it looks like I will need a little piece of housing for down here. Oh, actually got it right here. I didn't think I threw that away. All right. squeeze that into there. Looks like this might have actually routed through this eyelet here, which is interesting. Almost feels like a tight squeeze. Maybe it didn't go through there. Oops. A real tight squeeze. I'm wondering if this piece of housing is the optimal length. There we go. Pop that into place. Yeah, there's going to have to be more cleaning done to this bike. It got ridden hard. All right, now we're actually getting close to tune-up territory. My favorite part. Get the shifting and braking up to snuff. Check those limit screws. I think that one needs to go in just a little bit. Check that front derailleur. Oh, this is pretty darn close. Right off the bat, I think I need to tighten it just a little. There we go. And then definitely need to tighten up those brakes. And it looks like my brake line is pretty frayed at the end there, so that's kind of how it goes. Thought I was going to use this, but I'm swapping that out as well. Fresh brake cable. At least we saved the top portion of this brake. Or maybe those will be famous last words. Let's go ahead and yank that out. I think a fresh rear cable will be good. A little bit of lube in that line. Probably feel a lot snappier. All right. Yeah, definitely sticky, grimy bike. I'm definitely gonna do another round of cleaning. Yoinks. There we go. Now we're one step closer. Getting that brake tightened and centered. All right. Like I said, when I'm in focus mode, I go quiet. So maybe these won't be the prime videos for me. I think I'm gonna have more fun doing whiteboard concepts. I have a really good one coming out probably later this week. I talk about the C, AOV, and F principle in business, which has been pretty transformative for me. Kind of changed the way that I look at growth. I won't blabber on about it now because, well, it'll be the next video. Right now, I think I'll just keep focusing on this guy, which keeps hitting me with small surprise after small surprise. I think I felt a little bit of play in the headset. And then these brake levers are not quite even with each other. Go ahead and move that a bit. All right. Front brakes pull into the side just a little. Fix that. And then I think these pads are sitting a little cockeyed as well. Okay. Pull off these little, I guess these are designed to be reflectors, but they look like pieces of a straw or something. Pretty dirty. I don't see any on the back wheel. All right, and now I'm gonna douse this thing again. Get it nice and soaked. Starting to look not half bad. I think I'm gonna get a cleaner rag than this one. New grips, new cables, readjust the brakes, new saddle. This was definitely not looking good when I started, but I think after I get all of this dirt off, we're gonna find a bike underneath. I got a little bit of caked on grime to the rim. I don't expect the audio is good enough to pick this up, but you can hear a little bit, just those spots on the spokes. I don't know if it's like the beginnings of rust, where like the spoke surface is starting to get a little bit rough in places. So you can feel it with your finger as you run over it. But it's shining up pretty nice. All right, we've got a clean back wheel. See if I can get some of the gunk out of this drivetrain. Believe it or not, something like 50% of all time wrenching, especially in a used bike shop, is spent cleaning. Especially when they are covered in muck like this. It's about a 20-minute job to get a bike clean, not including if you have to do any rust removal. That can be a little bit more time intensive. I had a 70s Schwinn in the shop this spring, not for sale. It was a customer's bike. It was actually a 70s Schwinn tandem. And it was a complete rust bucket. But most of it was surface rust, and we were able to clean that thing up quite a bit, but it was still a big job. Probably a cumulative 3 hours of scrubbing rust off with a fine-tooth comb. It's a pretty cool end result. And another really dirty rim. I think after this front rim, though, we're going to be in good shape. I'm going to clip the rest of those cables, get some crimps on, double check the shifting and the brakes, and then I'll take it out for a test ride. And then my sales guy saw a pair. I'll probably get it listed before the end of the day tomorrow. And I bet you it sells by the weekend. We've got one more week open. We're going to be open until the 22nd. And then I usually close from Christmas clear out to Valentine's Day. This year we're gonna do kind of a hybrid approach, since I have a team member that has been around for long enough. He can definitely handle the sales side of things. So I think we're gonna open weekends only between Christmas and Valentine's Day. And we'll just have the service department closed while I go visit family in Florida. Get a couple cable crimps on there. One more on the front. Actually, the front's already got one, doesn't it? Cool. All right. Let's double check the shifting. I'm gonna mess with that rear brake just a little. Still feel that tiny little bit of play in the headset. I think it just needs like half a turn. I always like to kind of let it freely turn. If it's hitting the notches and it's like, you know, catching in some areas, you want this to be fluid, but you also don't want any movement. The movement's gone. Tighten it down a little more. Yeah. And then I can always notice when the headset is off from the front wheel, even if by 1%, 1 degree. This one's a little more than 1 degree. There we go. And while I'm at it, I'm gonna do a little safety bolt check. Headset. And then it's being conveniently hidden right now by the clamp, but this seat post, it's got a little bit of rust starting on it. You can see there. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit that with some simple green. And then for surface rust, I will use kind of a fatter wire brush like that. That and some simple green typically gets it right off. Yeah, it's cleaning up good. And then just hit it with some warm water. Bring this down to a more appropriate height, and I think that's gonna be that. Got ourselves a bicycle now, ready for a test ride. So that'll be that for this video. Hope the audio was a huge improvement. I'm gonna shoot a couple more today actually, but I think we're gonna transition a little bit to more of those whiteboard concepts. So keep an eye out for that. I am looking to split this channel basically in those two ways. There's gonna be watch me work videos, and then there's gonna be business concept videos. The business concept videos are gonna be much more organized. These are more of just a casual watch me work. Maybe I'll be talkative, maybe I won't. Just kind of for like, you know, background. All right, see you in the next video.